You've heard it 1,000 times, right? It's one of those sayings we just accept without thinking. Money can't buy happiness. But what if that's not just some comforting cliche? What if it's just wrong? Because the science, the psychology, and the data from real lives, well, they tell a very different and much more powerful story. So let's get into it. The myth we're all sold is this idea that happiness and wealth are on two totally separate tracks. But let's be honest, the reality for most of us is that a lack of money is a direct path to stress, to chaos. Financial security, on the other hand, isn't really about getting fancy things. It's the foundation for calm and for freedom. It turns out, one is often the prerequisite for the other. And look, that is not an exaggeration. This whole idea is one of the biggest myths in our culture. And you have to understand, it was never really designed to help you. No, it was designed for something else entirely. And here's what's so interesting. Wealthy people aren't happier because they have yachts or supercars. No, they're happier because they get that money is a tool. And they use that tool to buy very specific things that science shows directly lead to well-being, things that, frankly, most of us completely overlook. That right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's not about buying more stuff. It's about having a strategy. It's about understanding what happiness is actually made of and then using your money to get those core ingredients. And today, we are going to lay out that exact blueprint. So first, before we can understand the truth, we kind of have to dismantle the lie. I mean, where did this idea even come from? Because I can promise you, it didn't come from a research lab. Think about it. The phrase "money can't buy happiness" is a fantastic tool for keeping society stable. It's got deep roots in religious teachings that discouraged wanting material things. It became a super powerful cultural story to keep everyone content with their lot in life. For people who are struggling, it's a necessary coping mechanism, and for the rich, it's a pretty convenient way to avoid resentment. It's basically a social balancer, not a scientific fact. Okay, so let's leave the history lesson behind and look at the cold, hard data. Over the last couple of decades, psychologists and economists have been digging into this question like crazy. And the results, they're surprisingly clear. You've probably seen this number before. It came from a Nobel Prize-winning study back in 2010 out of Princeton by two guys named Kahneman and Deaton. This number became the headline everyone remembered. And honestly, it seemed to prove the old saying was right. So here's what that famous study found. See how day-to-day happiness shoots up with income? But then, right around that $75,000 a year mark, boom, the line just seems to flatten out completely. And that's why the myth got so popular. It looked like science was backing it up. Once your basic needs are met, more money doesn't make you any happier. But that's not the whole story. Yeah, see, science never just stops. And more recent, more detailed studies started to poke holes in that plateau theory. They found a really critical piece of the puzzle that was missing. This new research, it found no happiness plateau at all. As you can see, well-being just keeps on rising steadily with income way past 75 grand. So what's really going on? Well, the key insight is this. Money's biggest benefit isn't about buying joy. It's about eliminating stress and suffering. The more of life's problems it can solve, the more anxieties it can erase, the happier we feel. And that brings us right to the heart of it all. If money buys happiness, how does it do it? Well, science points to 4 incredibly powerful ways. These are the things the wealthy are actually buying. Let's start with the most important one, time. It's the only resource in the universe you can never, ever make more of. Every single second that ticks by is gone forever. And money is the only tool we have that can actually buy it back. Seriously, the richest people, they're not buying luxury. They're buying their time back. They're hiring people to clean their houses so they get their weekends back. They're paying more to live closer to work, saving hours of their life every single week. They build businesses so they can control their own calendar. And maybe most importantly, money gives them the freedom to say no to things, to projects, to jobs, to obligations that just suck up their time and energy. This isn't luxury, you see. This is life control. All right, key number 2 is peace of mind. You know, psychologists have found that chronic financial stress affects your brain in the exact same way as being in constant physical danger. It puts you in a permanent fight or flight mode, what they call a survival stress loop, that makes real happiness pretty much impossible. And money is the ultimate antidote to that kind of stress. Having an emergency fund isn't just about the cash in the bank. It's the quiet feeling in your gut that a surprise car repair or a medical bill won't completely destroy you. It's what silences that constant low-level hum of worry in the back of your mind. It creates stability, and our brains absolutely thrive on stability. Now, key number 3. This one might just be the most powerful psychological force of all: autonomy. I'm telling you, study after study shows that the single greatest predictor of long-term happiness is the feeling that you are in control of your own life, that you are the one writing your own story. People don't really want $1 million just to have it. What they want is the control that it provides. Whether that's the choice of where you get to live, the freedom to just walk away from a toxic job, or the power to design your own day instead of having someone else dictate it for you. Money buys choices, and choices are the raw ingredients of autonomy. And finally, the fourth key: opportunity. Money doesn't just open a few doors for you, it reveals an entirely new building full of doors you didn't even know existed. It's the ability to get an education that changes your entire career. It's having access to better healthcare that can literally extend your life. It's having the capital to turn a crazy idea into a real business. It expands the entire set of possible lives you can lead. So if money can buy time and peace and control, then why are so many people with decent incomes still miserable? Well, it's simple. They're buying the wrong things. They're spending their money on stuff instead of on freedom. Psychologists have a name for this trap. They call it the hedonic treadmill. Here's how it works. You buy a new car, a new phone, whatever. You get a little spike of happiness. It feels great. But then, really fast, your brain just adapts. That new thing becomes your new normal. Your happiness goes right back to where it was. And now you're looking for the next thing to buy. It's a cycle. Happiness from objects is temporary, but happiness from freedom, that's lasting. Okay, so let's put all this together into a simple blueprint. Because knowing all this theory is one thing, but actually applying it, well, that's what really matters. This is the strategy for using money to build a genuinely happier life. It's this simple. Rule 1. Before you buy the next shiny object, ask yourself, could this money buy back my time instead? Rule 2. Build a financial buffer, an emergency fund. Buy yourself peace of mind. Rule 3. Use your money to get more control over your life and your schedule. And Rule 4. When you do spend on fun, spend it on experiences that create memories, not on objects that just fade. So let's be perfectly clear. The money itself, the paper, the numbers on a screen, that is not happiness, it's not joy, it's not love. But it is the soil, the water, and the sunlight. It's the foundation that allows all of those beautiful things to actually grow, without constantly being choked out by the weeds of stress, anxiety, and worry. At the end of the day, this is what you're truly buying. It isn't a product, it's a state of being. A life with less stress weighing you down. A life with more time for the people and things that actually matter. A life where you are in the driver's seat. You know, money is just an amplifier. It doesn't give you a new personality. It gives you the freedom and the resources to finally be the person you already are, but without the constant pressure of just trying to survive. It doesn't create some new life out of thin air. It reveals the life you've always wanted to live.